when did the light go on? I really can't say for sure. Perhaps it's because I'm a bit more steady than I am flashy. But there was no sudden jolt of brilliance for me, no single day when the light went on. Still, a bit of light does come to me each day if I'll take the time to see it. More like a slow dawning where the edges of the morning silently appear. It's not the light I notice first, but the hint of forms around me, the sharpening silhouettes on the horizon coming into focus. It might start with just a tiny thread of pink and gold reflected on branches and buildings. The light calls them into being, as it were, or at least it calls them into mind. And that mere thread of color suddenly wraps them all into one form, connection. That's what I begin to see. Each singular shape is connected to another. It's not a solitary stone, but a scene, a world knit together by the threads of morning, not so much a call as a chorus. And then the bustle begins, 1,000 clicks and buzzes, each rousing the other. And that's the risk. Too often, I find myself engulfed in a stream of sights and sounds, and I turn from reflection to reaction as the wave of morning hits me. Suddenly my emails call, my lists emerge, my reminders start blinking on my screen. There is such an endless stream of plans and projects. The time gremlins stumble onto my desk, and they grab a piece of my light and hurry it away, selfishly demanding more. I look up, and it is noon, and again, and it is 6. I remember my drive to work with about the same clarity as I remember my work at about the same clarity as I remember my drive. And I did get here somehow. And that is the typical pull of my day, where I forget the light and connection. It's lost in the hurry and hassle and pushed aside with the getting it done. These are not so much dark days as oblivious ones, rushed, gray, foggy, blurry around the edges. And yet sometimes, some precious times, I remember to hold on to that quiet space at dawn. I close my eyes and put my fingers on the keyboard, and I type what I see in my mind's eye. I let a scene take shape in my imagination and let it grow into a full story. Most often it starts in a familiar meadow with some quandary or question that gives rise to a beckoning path. And as I begin to walk, the story unfolds in unexpected encounters, in dances with trees or conversations with shadows, fanciful metaphors that speak of wordless things. I shuffle down a leaf-strewn path, I go deep into caves, or I find a hidden stream. I swim with water sprites and throw balls of pure water into the air. I call out to the cliffs above, or whisper my fears in the silence of an empty cell. I wonder sometimes if I'm just talking to myself, but I watch it all unfold with curious wonder until I find myself back in the meadow where I started, the question answered, or at least repeated with a deeper tone, helping me to see for the very first time the things that I always knew. Whatever the story, I glimpse connection. It requires an honesty that strips me to my core because it is only at the true heart of things that connection is revealed. It strips away the pretense that separates, the pretense that I am, or should be, complete on my own instead of part of a whole. This can happen when I let it in the early morning light. I only wish I could bring that sanity, that connection, into the rest of my day. But I don't seem to be able to do that by myself. And should that be a surprise? No, I need the wings of conversation to work that kind of magic. I need someone, or a couple of someones, who are willing to sit with me and share their own imaginings, whose ideas tumble and tug and fight and laugh, willing to let the tensions test each other until suddenly they line up, shake hands, and smile. They seemed the worst of enemies until just now, when they embrace. When common ground shows up amid difference, it is confirmed more strongly, more convincingly, than when it comes from surface similarities. It proves itself in its very unlikeliness because it requires honesty and depth. it also requires time. Time to listen, time to actually hear, time to let it sink in and deeper in, time to let it shake the sameness into something new, to turn it on its head and empty its pockets on the ground. It takes time to connect. But I bet you've had those times where the light has bounced from face to face and word to word, where you've tossed an idea into a classroom and watched it volley back and forth, sparking new ideas that split and recombine, that send a new thought spinning into space and back again to grounded earth. Ideas and people can form a web of wonder, weaving something new in the space between ourselves, inviting each of those selves into new spaces and new bits of wonder, finding the connections in the deepest heart of it all, where suddenly you hear the chorus spring from the single notes. I now realize that even the quiet morning meditations are born of conversation, of a reaching out with some expression of myself and yearning for reply. It seems that we humans find life when we connect ourselves with something more, when we see that we have been connected all along. And so I ask you, when does the light come on for you? And just what is it that you see? What imaginings burn within you? What ideas reach out for resonance? Perhaps we should start a conversation.